there's something like I'd like to point out. For example, we have a knife. We have, say, a combat knife. Now, combat knife, this is a sort of knife where you use the knife for, say, hitting the jugular vein here, the jugular vein here. It's a sort of thrusting knife. It's thrust. It's not the type to like cut the throat or something. Now, say this knife is a piece of equipment which we need to configure for a particular mission. Supposing we are confronted with a mission which we actually define as not killing the enemy, but deterring the enemy. Now, deterring the enemy means this knife is not to be used as a killing instrument. Rather, this knife should be used to create a fear in the opponent so that the opponent will not go further in conflict with us and might, evade us and rather quit the scene. In case I change the mission to maiming the enemy, then perhaps this knife is not suitable, because this knife is a thrusting knife. It will inflict a damage the jugular vein or the kidneys, which might cause death. In that case, I might change this equipment and take something else which will not kill the enemy but maim the enemy. In case my mission is to kill the enemy, in that case this knife is suitable, but even there certain factors arise. Whenever we study an equipment or whenever we study a tactic or a technique, we must conduct a mission analysis based on the capability of the tactic or the technique or the system under consideration. A tactic and a technique can be a system. A tactic and technique need not be just a method or a modus operandi. It can be a system. We can consider tactic, a technique, TTPs and procedures as a full system, and we can critically review the system and understand whether it is mission capable, whether its capabilities enhance the mission, whether they support the mission. Then there's another factor which we'll come to, that is needs analysis, real-time needs analysis. Now, coming back to this knife example again, this knife, it's the mission which we stated initially was to maim the enemy, or rather, okay, fine, to kill the enemy, fine, to kill the enemy. I'm a commando, I have a knife, my orders are to go in and kill the enemy and come back. Say to the guard or night watch and come back. Fine, well, good. So I sneak behind him, and at the right opportune moment, an attack from behind, I hit jugular vein, I hit jugular artery, and I kill him. Supposing the situation is, now I have the intelligence information that I'll be facing one opponent with his back towards me, or one opponent who is moving to and fro among the watchtowers in a predetermined time sequence, so that I can configure my attack in tune with his stepping, in tune with the time sequence, and then rather I should say invisibly attack him from behind. What if my int was wrong? What if my intelligence information was wrong and there were other backup enemy elements who were also keeping a watch on this night guard, expecting an enemy to come and kill their colleague? I'm just taking a very, very rough scenario. Here, my mission was to kill the enemy based on the capability of the weapon I have, a knife with which I can make an attack from the rear. I am not armed with a, say, a pistol. I am not with a silencer-laden pistol. I am not armed with a small, with any weapon capable of small arms fire. Now, what happens is, initially, when I reach the spot, I find there was a lone soldier. I go ahead with my plan, and suddenly I realize during the, when I'm slithering up towards him, that there are other people to contend with, and they observe me. At this point of time, I don't have a small arms fire capability. I can't just mow them down with a, say, an AK-47, so I'm dead meat for them. The point is this: mission requirements can change with the situation. If I define a mission very, very carefully, if I define the mission as per my priority intelligence requirements, the commander always sets out priority intelligence requirements, PIR. They have to be handled first. The critical, the CCIR, the critical int requirements, and then comes the other int requirements, which are not that important, because all these int requirements have to be satisfied with int collection assets, and the commander does not always have int collection assets at his fingertips. I mean, the entire range, the SIGINT, the UMINT, the MINT, he has limited assets. He has to, like, proportionately allot his assets to those int requirements which are more important than other int requirements. Whatever it is, based on the intelligence preparation of the battlefield, based on the situational understanding of the commander, he sets out his int requirements, his counter int, and the int staff officer help him in the planning process. And then after all the course of actions and everything has been evaluated, finally he gives the, the warning order to go ahead with the operation. Now the operation starts, but then we find out that the mission which was explicitly defined in the initial stage can change any time because of changing int requirements and changing operational requirements, rather I should say. Here it was an operational requirement. Here, my killing the soldier and my facing more soldiers, it's a change in operational need. So the actual need varies with the mission requirement needs, and hence the equipment I have with me, say the knife here in this question, is unable to satisfy the actual need, and then I'm dead meat. Similarly, we have in the cases of, say, those vehicles which go for reconnaissance, deep reconnaissance, reconnoitering, and surveillance. And when we enter deep enemy territory, we have to decide. Supposing a vehicle may be carrying the crew, the gun crew, the soldiers who dismount, the collection agents, and who move deep into enemy territory for surveillance. Now we have to make a trade-off. So what happens if due to sudden changes sudden changes at ground level, say there's an unexpected attack, and we are engaged with the enemy, and then we are forced to engage with the enemy, and lose one or two of our men, might lose a gun crew, might lose a driver. Then few of our people who are supposed to collect information on the enemy, they now have to handle the vehicle driving part, the gun crew part, and now we are short of collection agents. At the same time, we are in a hot spot facing the enemy, engaging the enemy. So what happens? Whenever we design or whenever we go for purchasing a recce vehicle, say with its own gun turret and its capacity to hold so and so much crew and so much human and counter operatives and surveillance operatives for deep reconnaissance and surveillance, we have to consider many cases rather than just jumping to the fact that, okay, fine, this vehicle has worked well in Bosnia, this vehicle has worked well in Herzegovina, in Iraq, it will work well in India, on any Indian battleground. That's not the case. We need to conduct a needs analysis, we need to conduct a mission analysis, we need to conduct a capability analysis, but all these three should be integrated to reach optimum design of the system as per in changing int requirements. That's the main criteria, changing int requirements. Next, I'll be coming down to something which you should know about counter int. Counter int has often been relegated to the backstage. In counter int, there's always been a problem with counter int. We generally deal with counter int in a very negative manner. We feel that the int requirements, the intelligence inputs at the brigade division level, they carry the picture. They carry the picture of the situation quite clearly. We forget one thing, that we are dealing with a distributed non-linear battlefield. This is a time when we are facing an asymmetric enemy. We are not facing a conventional enemy. The terrorists, the insurgents, these people are asymmetric enemy. They will try to offset their disadvantages. Sorry, they will try to offset our their disadvantages by repeated hit and run tactics, by creating newer and newer TTPs to offset this asymmetric disadvantage. We are facing a highly mobile, a highly adaptive enemy, and here the intelligence flow is from the bottom. The soldier, the platoon soldier at the ground, he is in more contact with the community. He is in more contact with the local people, with the detainees, with the screened elements at the boundaries, with the screen elements at checkpoints, at checkposts, and he gets more information. Now, in a distributed warfare, supposing there's in the battle space, there are numerous tactical battles being fought over a huge battle space. It is very difficult for the int staff officer at the brigade level or at the division level to feed the int requirements to each and every tactical unit on the ground. It is practically impossible. We can offset this by using mobile int teams who move from one company to other company, which we say company support int teams, to give them feedback, and then there is relayed down to the soldiers at the ground level. But then the basic thing is this: gone are the days when the intelligence is from top to bottom. Here, int is collected right at the bottom level by the soldier. The soldier must be capable of understanding that the information which has come to his hand is worthy of attention. That information may have content of intelligence value. To understand that, our soldiers must be at least educated. Our soldiers must understand that what I have in my hand. Supposing he comes across a document which we should say in terms document exploitation or captured enemy equipment exploitation, he must understand what is he dealing with. And then if he understands that thing, he can at least pass it on to his higher ups. Or supposing he confronts a detainee or a suspect, he must be shrewd enough to conduct a quick, on-the-spot tactical questioning. Tactical questioning is not tough to learn. It is not specialized int questioning or interrogation. And then he quickly takes out information. He passes it on to the int officer of the company, or who relays it down to the int officer of the brigade. The point is, intelligence flows bottom up, and bottom up intelligence is important, and for that we need to have int capability at the ground level or the root level. Again, here we need to conduct the mission analysis, the capability analysis, and the needs analysis.